Hello and welcome to this Racing Bet Data pre-race trading bot video. Thank you for showing interest or purchasing this file already. I believe this is going to be of great use to people, potentially people that don't have the time or the skills to develop their own bot, but are very interested in automating their trading, allowing a set and forget almost mechanism or something they can set up in the morning while they're at work, off shopping, whatever it might be, to execute their trades for them. This is the control tab that you will land on upon opening the file, and I will go through this in step-by-step detail in a moment. But the first thing you need to look at is your selections. So your selections, your horse list need to be fed into this panel up to 500 at any one time for the bot to be able to handle and process those. Now, whether you're using our pre-race download file, whether you've refined your selections using our back to lay or later back tool available through our product shop, or whether you're simply outputting from our data dashboard with your criteria already defined. However you're doing that, the list just needs to be fed into here each time you use the bot or each day. Clear the selections beforehand, click this button, and then input your new list. Some of the horses will have a suffix attached to them, country of origin suffix. So, for instance, where a horse is what we call a dual active, so same named horse but totally different horses, different stables, different yards, but with the same name. To separate those out, we add the country of origin to one of those horses. Now, the bot itself will handle that to ensure that the Betfair naming convention is matched. You do not need to do any manipulation, simply use our outputs. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to output from the data dashboard. I'm not going to put any filter criteria on. I'm just going to purely output all of today's horses from here. Open that one up and paste that straight in. Now, obviously, this is not a system or a strategy. I'm purely feeding in horse data so we can generate some selections. Those are in. I'm going to close this one down. Do not need that anymore. So we have a full list of horses all into the bot. Let's get back to the control file. This is how you determine what type of bets are placed and when they're placed. So you can see at the top left here, we have backs, the initial bet, whether you're backing first or laying first. Now, if you're backing, obviously it would be done at stake. If you're laying, it's a liability. Now, there's more detail and instruction for use down the right-hand side, but I'm going to briefly take you through all of this during the course of this instruction video. So we're going to use a backing stake here today. You can select whether the initial bet goes in at SP. If you have that ticked, it will not instantly match into the market, it will bet at SP. Now, this is a pre-race trading tool designed for your initial bet to be matched or put into the market before the race starts. I'm going to leave that unticked for the purpose of this video. Tick offset, so anybody purchasing this, we would expect some sort of understanding of trading and how trading works. But to briefly explain this to you, a tick offset is a secondary bet automatically placed by the bot to ensure that you get a profit based on the horse's running style. So in this instance, we're backing first and we're looking to lay then 10 ticks below. That can be adjusted here using the up and down toggles or simply typed in using your keypad. Now, if you do not want to apply tick offset, simply set that to 0 and no tick offset bet will be fired. Similar to the stop loss. Now, the stop loss is the opposite way. So if the market moves against you, we're looking to back first. So we're looking for a lay to come in lower. If the market moves the other way and drifts, the software and the bot will automatically trigger a stop loss 20 ticks above the initial back price. Now, the thing with a stop loss is there's no guarantee in that getting matched. The volatility of a horse racing market, specifically in play, means that sometimes a horse falls, for instance, and it's going to blow right through. The odds are going to shoot out to 0. That horse has no chance of winning the race. So your stop loss is a little bit volatile. Again, anybody understanding how horse racing trading works will know that. We've explained a little bit more in the section on the right-hand side here. But to try and mitigate that, we have given the ability to put a chase stop loss. So by ticking this and setting how many seconds to wait will mean that if your initial stop loss bet is not matched, it will retry after 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever you want to set that to. I'm going to turn that off, but that functionality is available to anybody who wants to apply it. Now, different types of races are going to give different market conditions. Obviously, if it's a 5 furlong sprint, that race is going to be over a lot quicker. There are no hurdles to overcome, so no horse is going to fall, but it might come out the stalls really badly, or conversely, it might come out um, really well, have a great start, and that will be reflected in the fluctuality of the odds. And obviously, we put the onus on you as a user to understand that, and that's probably built into the way your system or strategy has been defined. The auto profit loss on or off, so having that ticked means that any runner in the market, so if you put a back bet in, it drops 10 ticks, it will spread that profit across all horses. It doesn't matter who wins that race, you'll have an even profit based on whoever wins that race. Now, obviously, that's good. That's what you want. The profit level will be lower than if you had that turned off, but then that would only apply if you have it turned off to the horse or horses that you're meeting your selections that you have your trades applied to. So if you're doing a back to lay, as we are here, and the horse goes on to win, then the whole profit that you would have made from that trade will be applied to that horse only. If another horse went on to win, then it would be scratched. You wouldn't return any of that profit. So having that tick means that any horse, you don't really care who wins that race, the profit's locked in, but it's a smaller level. Again, that's entirely up to the user. You can set your stake amount or a lowability amount if laying. Now, one thing to consider if laying, that Betfair do impose a minimum £10 stake for BSP. So if you're laying and you're selecting BSP, that needs to be £10. Otherwise, the bet will get cancelled. That is down to Betfair, nothing to do with the bot or the software. You will not be able to get that lay bet matched at SP for anything less than £10. When to place the bet. So if you are trying to get as close to the odds at the start of the race and not using SP, obviously the smaller this number, the closer to the scheduled off time. Races don't always go off exactly to post time, as we all know, but that is the point in time that the bets will be triggered into the market. So I've got that set to 30 seconds. If you wanted to trade 30 minutes before the race and you're looking to get offsets or stop losses kicked in before the race started, you can do that. So you'd obviously have to put that in a number of seconds, but you can apply that. And the initial bet, as long as it's matched, the tick offset and the stop loss would react the same way. Before the race, there's obviously less viability, fluctuation and volatility in the market, and that might well be your strategy. So that governs when that initial bet is placed into the market. Now we have what's called fill or kill here. So if your initial bet is not matched in the market after a number of seconds, it will cancel that totally. So if we had it set to 5, bet went in, the odds moved before the race, bet didn't get matched. After 5 seconds, it would be cancelled. No further tick offset or stop losses would be applied to that bet. If you have this turned on, as we have here, and your initial bet's matched instantly, there is no cancellation of the tick offset or stop loss. Those are still applied as normal. To turn this off, as I'm going to do here, I'm going to select that to 0. The keep in play, there's a bit more information below here. You can also find more in the GRUS instruction manual, but essentially these are what happens to your bets if they are unmatched and you have this turned off. We've got it defaulted to IPC, which means the initial bet is matched prior to in play, and then your offset bets will not be cancelled. They will be taken in play, which is what we want, or what I want to demonstrate on this video. Then finally, we have the minimum entry and maximum entry points. So I've got between 2 and 6 for the purpose of this demonstration here. Obviously, yours might be different, might be tighter, might be greater range, depending if you're backing laying, for instance. If you're backing at SP, then these will be adhered to. So it would not put a back bet in below level 2. If you're laying, it would not put a lay above 6. If we have this turned off, as we have here, it will back any horses or lay, I've got it set to back, between this range at the 30 seconds before the off. So this is where I'm saying if you're doing this further out and selecting the horse range here, that range closer to the off might change. So you might get a back bet in at on a horse or at 2.02, 30 minutes before the race. It might drift out to 2.14 by the time of the off. So you would have got better value backing that later. It might even trigger your stop loss if it goes all the way out here. Of course, the opposite can happen. You could get your back in at 2.02 and it could go down to 1.87, hit your tick offset before the race has even started and you're in the world of green. So that, again, depends on your strategy. Now, if you're not fussed about the entry points, you can obviously set that to 1.01 as your minimum and 1,000 as your maximum. Okay, let's have a look at these other tabs here. So we have R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. We also have R6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are all the same. I'm going to just use this one tab. If you're wanting to split out meetings onto separate tabs, that's where you would use these separate ones. And I'm going to show you how to do that and explain why you might want to do that when we look to connect to Gruss. The My Bets tabs, these will populate once bets are triggered into the market and will disappear as soon as it moves to the next market. Again, you can hide or take these away, delete them or hide them if they're not of interest to you. Right, back to the tab. Let's load up Gruss and all of our selections are in. This is demonstrating how you need to connect to Gruss, a fixed screenshot of the settings, but I'm going to show you this as well when we connect into Gruss. Let's turn this one off. So we're on the 1:15 at Lingfield, 5 minutes before the off. Now, very quickly, I did just say about loading different markets onto separate tabs. You can do that within Gruss by going to the options, quick pick list markets, and ticking this box here, load different venues into separate tabs. If I had that ticked, the 3 meetings for today, or the Musselburgh has actually been abandoned, would load onto separate tabs. You would then connect one tab per market across the bottom here. Now, the benefit of doing that is if you have the instance that does happen sometimes where there's been a delay to a race. So Lingfield, for instance, if this was delayed by 45 minutes, by the time the actual race started, it would be 2 o'clock, meaning that any selections and trades from Musselburgh would not be triggered because the market would be stuck on this one until the race finished, and then it would automatically move to the Musselburgh one, by which time that race would have taken place. Now, today, this is abandoned, so in daytime, we've only got the Lingfield meet, and then we've got Southall in the evening. Not such a big issue, but some days, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meetings perhaps. So keeping those split across separate tabs could be a benefit to you if you wanted to do that, certainly if you're looking at set and forget. So to connect this to the bot itself, you can see here, this is where the connectivity shows. There is nothing at the moment, but to make the connection, we go to Excel, log current prices. Now, the screenshot is in the selections tab. The only thing you can't see is I'll have stall draw ticked. Now that will populate in here, assuming it is a race running out of stalls. If it's not of interest to you, you can leave that unticked and that column there will not change. Otherwise, everything is as per the screenshot. Workbook name, so you can select here. We recommend doing this with only one Excel instance running. If you have other workbooks, make sure that the bot the Gruss software is connected to the bot file. I only have one open, so it's simple defaults. Worksheet name, so we're having R1. If in the instance I've just described where you have more meetings across the top, you would need to repeat this process for each of those and select R2, R3, R4 for each of the separate race meetings to make sure they're on different tabs. And one thing to be aware of here, make sure that this is set to A7, not any other cell reference, as the bot will not work if you set it to anything else. The default on your system might be A1. If that is the case, change it to A7 and it should retain that for future connectivity. These are all ticked. It shouldn't make any impact really, but it's probably best that you replicate this. And then the My Bets one, if that is not ticked, then these will not populate. They will just stay blank. So it's entirely up to you if you're going to be using that or not, but I've got it ticked. If we click OK, you'll see here that we now have connectivity. I'm just going to move it back. Let's try moving it onto the Lingfield, onto the Musselburgh one. You can see we now have connectivity to the Excel bot. And if we go into the bot, you'll see that this countdown till off clock is ticking down a second at a time. And you can see some of the prices moving here. Now, no bets are going to be triggered where this says no. This is all purely information based on your control file. There's nothing you need to touch on this sheet. It's telling we're backing first at stake with the tick offset on, the stop loss is on, the auto level is on. I've tick offset set to 10, our stop loss 20. It's 140 seconds to the off. There are 9 runners in the race. And this is where it tells us what, or tells the bot to fire the bet in based on the 30 seconds. So if I have that set to 130, it would now be triggering. And this is where it tells it to move to the next market when the race has finished. Status is not in play, and we're staking £1, as you can see here. So selections, all of these are ticked as 1 because we have every single selection. If these were if there were no selections in this race, it would move automatically to the next race because there's no point staying on it until as you have no bets to fire. The range meet, so you can see here, we're going to have 2 bets fired into this market as it stands at the moment. I've not ticked the SP box, so those will fire in at the current price and hopefully get matched. And then the offset bet will automatically be matched by the software. We should see that happening in around about 50 seconds time. That's pretty much all that I need to explain on the bot really. The rest, it will just take care of itself. So like I said, as long as you have your parameters set up, what it is that you want to do, whether you're backing, laying, you've got your selections, you've got your range, the bot will take care of it. And I could just leave this and go off and get on with my day. So let's see. Again, this is not a system or strategy, so I'm not doing this to show you something that's going to make profit. In fact, I'd quite like it that at least one of these horses triggered the stop loss, so you can see how that fires in play. But we've got about 8 seconds to go before this triggers. We've still got these 2 meeting the criteria. You'll see here the bets are triggered. We've got a bet reference, bet time. You can see we've got the match stake, profit loss, the details there. If I go to Gruss, you'll see here are our back bets. Automatically place these 2 tick offset bets. They will be kept in play, so they won't be cancelled when the market changes. And we can just keep an eye on this now and see how the market reacts. Now, if, for instance, Therapist backed at 4.9, if that drifts out by 20 ticks, so up to around 7.6 or so, it will cancel the tick offset and place a stop loss. Now, again, the market might have drifted way past that, up to 10, for instance. If we had on the control panel the chase selected, it would try and chase that bet down. We have it turned off, so that might mean that we don't get a match and we just take a full loss. And you can see the race has actually gone in play. We've gone green. You'll see this is green across the top. We've got in play here. We just need to keep an eye on these really. So Therapist, we're looking to hit down to 3.95 and not Brex 4.5. In fact, not Brex is on the drift, so we might get the stop loss triggered first. I'd quite like to see that so you can see for yourself how that works. So 1 mile 4, so one of the longest ones at Lingfield today, but still relatively short. Let's just watch and see what happens with this market. Again, when you're using this bot, I would recommend that you do some visualization on this to familiarize rather than just diving straight in, and of course use small stakes as well. Let's see how this progresses. Therapist is at or around, they're both at or around the starting price here. We're probably about halfway through. I've not got the pictures on here because I'm commentating on what I'm doing. It looks like Knockbrex might trigger its stop loss, but the volatility of in-play horse race markets mean you can never predict exactly what's going to happen here. Keep an eye on this. They're both just slightly above the price that we took and just above their SP as well. Let's see what we're going to get first. It's now Therapist that's on the drift. There you go. So you can see it's cancelled that and it's placed and matched a stop loss on Therapist, and at the same time Knockbrex had the tick offset taken. So you can see here we've got a level profit because we have that selected on here. If that was turned off, these other horses would all be at 0 regardless of who won, We can see here, Notbrex backed at 5.5, laid at 4.5, Therapist backed at 4.9, laid at 8.2. Now the market's just going to come to a close, and what you'll see is it move automatically to the next market. Today, in this instance, Musselburgh's cancelled, so it will move from that one straight to the next one at Lingfield, and it will wait there. It will check the bot. Yeah, I've got selections, and it won't move to the next market. It will sit there, and it will trigger, as it stands at the moment, those 3 bets when it hits 30 seconds. If I take all of these selections out, what you'll see with the bot, if I go here, is it will now move to the next race. It'll look to see if there's any selections. It will then move to the next one, look to see if there's any selections. We can look at it on here as well. It will scroll through automatically, and what it will end up doing is getting to the last race of the day at Southall 8:30, because there are no selections in the bot, so there's nothing for it to trade. So I hope that has given you an explanation of how the bot works. To disconnect it, simply go here, turn it off, and then shut your software down. Not affiliated with Russ in any way, but I have spoken to Mark. He's willing to support anybody new or anybody with any questions around Russ itself. Obviously, if your question is around the bot and the design of this, the functionality, I'm hoping that everything's been covered in this video and all the instructions, but if there's anything that's not clear, please feel free to reach out and give me an email. Thank you for showing interest.